Hey guys, Kat here from Standing Stone, and I have a special guest with me. Today I'm talking to Tim Otto. We're at the 2025 NAVHDA Invitational, and I have the opportunity to chat with NAVHDA President Tim Otto. So,
thanks, Kat. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad we could take a second. You got, one day that you're not judging, so
I have a couple days I'm not judging. Today's one of them.
Perfect. So we snuck this conversation in. NAVHDA is a huge volunteer organization. The judges, the huge number of people that are at the Invitational helping it run, plus all the handlers and their dogs. It's a busy place, so we carved out a little bit of time to have this conversation. So Tim, what do you do when you're not volunteering hours and hours of your time here?
I spend a lot of time volunteering. I'm really involved in the cooking community, travel a lot, or try and do as much international travel as I can. Most of it revolves around eating, basically.
I am a huge foodie, so I can appreciate that. Would love to travel more. Hopefully we can as we get older. But what do you do for a living?
I'm retired. I'm a retired college professor. I was a university professor at Rutgers in New Jersey for 26 years and just retired a few years ago.
Oh, well, congratulations. Once you get to that point, it's you've got a lot more extra time to volunteer, travel, do the things that you worked your life for. So.
Yep. I honestly don't know how I ever had time to work.
I feel you on that part a little bit. It's like a work-life balance is always tough. So,
yeah.
Okay, so Tim, what got you into NAVHDA and when did you get into NAVHDA?
Well, it all started back in 1959. Now, I've always had hunting dogs since the day I was born. We started with beagles as a kid, had a short hair in there, went to a collie that really didn't count too much, and then had red setters for a big part of my life. My first solo dog as an adult was an English pointer. It was a great dog, a little big runner for me. It was a field trial dog, and I was young. I didn't really know what I was doing. And then I was at a bed and breakfast one time in the middle of Pennsylvania, and guy had these furry dogs. He had them up on this wooden table, and I couldn't figure out what was going. So I talked to him a little bit. He said, yeah, I belong to NAVHDA and we train hunting dogs. I've always had hunting dogs. My dogs, to me, they found birds for me. They chased them, and if I shot them, they brought them to me sometimes. And it was a German wire-haired pointer. And I fell in love with the breed, bought one. And when I went to pick the dog up, the breeder said, Tim, you really should do something with this dog. And I said, well, of course I'm going to do something. I'm going to hunt it. And he said, no. I mean, you should join something to help you train the dog, whether it's, the VDD group or NAVHDA or something. And I was like, well, you know what? Great. I'm not really a joiner. So I was running the dog one day at a wildlife management area near me. And a guy drives up and he said, hey, that kind of looks like a NAVHDA dog. And I had no idea what he was talking about. It was Glenn Basco, a good friend, senior judge, invitational judge. And he said, why don't you bring this dog to our next NAVHDA training day, which was a couple weeks. So I went and I got there and was completely blown away. Glenn and another guy were training for the NAVHDA Invitational, and they had dogs slamming points and, beautiful backs and retrieving to hand and steady. This was something that I had never seen before, and I was completely blown away. And so I remember thinking to myself, this is great. In 6 months, I'll have my dog doing that. 6 years later, I took that dog to the Invitational and passed. So it's been a long journey, since I joined NAVHDA in 2000, it was 25 years ago or so. I've had a number of positions at the local chapter, director of training. I was director of testing for a while. Then I was director of publications at the international level and for a few years and ran for president, and here I am.
Awesome. So from beagles and collies to English pointers and wire hairs, what are you running now?
I have one wire hair who's 12.
Okay.
I have a short hair who's 5.
Okay. So
both VCs.
Awesome. And becoming a VC, like you said, wasn't going to happen in 6 months.
It was not going to happen in 6 months.
Takes an incredible amount of time, commitment, to the training, to the dog, to their development. And we talk to a lot of people all the time too, as breeders ourselves, about do something with your puppy, give them a job, give them a purpose. NAVHDA is a great way to do that, as well as it's an amazing community of people, and the networking that you do when you're at these training days and tests not only are great for you to keep learning, but gives opportunities to your dog that you may not be able to do as a solo person individually training.
That's absolutely right. And, you hit on one key element, which I focus on a lot, both in my president's messages each month and just in conversations. And that is that NAVHDA transcends training your dog. We all get better dogs out of it. But really the magical thing about NAVHDA, at least in my view, is the community that it engenders, right? I mean, through NAVHDA, you meet people you would never have met before. I now have, just like you, friends all over the United States and Canada that I would never have met had it not been for NAVHDA. And these are not just good friends. You become friends through the community of really helping one another get the most out of your dog. And I know that we have an official mission, sort of the informal mission is people helping people get the most out of their dogs. And you see that every day. You go to small clinics in, small towns or at the Invitational. A great example is the Invitational is everybody is supportive of one another. Not the least bit competitive. So it really is a true sense of community. And I think that's really what separates NAVHDA from some other organization.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a competition. We're competing against a standard, but we're not competing dog against dog, handler against handler. At the end of the day, when they're reading scores, everybody's clapping for everybody. When somebody has a great day, you just can't help but cheer for them. When somebody has a tough day, you can't just feel for them because at one point in time, we've all been there, whether at this level or the natural ability level, it still is the community supporting each other. And when you are an individual trying to figure it out with your first dog, and it's where do you start? And this is a great place to start with like-minded people that care about their dogs, want to go hunting with them. Or I've had a lot of people that join NAVHDA because they want to do something with their dog, and hunting kind of just follows along, which is kind of an incredible process as well.
It is. I've seen that as well. And a lot of breeders ask their owners to join NAVHDA, at least run NA, and a number of people do that and then move on. But I'm going to say at least 50% they stick around, and they stick around not because they want to necessarily go to the Invitational. They stick around for two reasons. One is that they want a better trained dog for hunting season, and the other is, again, I'd keep harping on this because of the community. You think about those early mornings where people, are bringing you coffee, or somebody's taking extra time to lay a track for you or pull a drag for you. These are the kinds of things, the kind of relationships, I think, that maintain the organization and bring people back.
Absolutely. And those people, they're not just the people that you see at test day either. Those relationships follow you around. You find people that you want to go on hunting trips with. And these dogs that we've worked all summer working and training, now what do we get to do with them? We get to go hunting with them together.
And that's really what it's all about. I mean, another one of the things I emphasize here is that NAVHDA is a great organization for relationships, for training your dog. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is get the best trained dogs to conserve game and have a great time outside without a lot of yelling, right?
Yes.
And that's really, at least to me, and I think to the vast majority of NAVHDA members, really why we're here. And that is to wind up at the end with a much better hunting dog. So your hunting experience is much more enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking about NAVHDA and the community and your role here in a leadership position, basically, as president of NAVHDA. Can you tell me a little bit about what that entailed this last term? And also, we have an election coming up, so what you're hoping for in your next term?
Over the last 5 years, and this is not just me, Dave Trahan was president prior to me, and then I was elected as president for this most recent term. And we've really seen some remarkable changes in NAVHDA over the last 5 years. I wrote a little bit about them in the August issue of the VHT. If you'd like to see sort of a semi-complete list, you can refer to that. But some of the real highlights of the last few years are, Number one, hiring managing director, Kim Arnett. She's changed the face of the organization. She is a powerhouse. If you've met her, then you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't met her, please take some time to give her a call. Kim is really just, she's the engine behind NAVHDA, as are the staff in the central office, Maria Bondi, Ellie Anton, and the staff there. Absolutely incredible. Several other things that we've done in the past 5 years, and again, this is not just me, this is a group of people, the executive committee. And I want to preface this by saying that really all of the progress I think that we've made over the last 5-6 years is based almost exclusively on member input. And one of the things that we've done to increase member input in terms of decision making and the sorts of or the types of programs that we've developed come from surveys from the membership. We've also, over the last couple of years, after I was elected last term, begun quarterly presidents meetings. So Kim Arnett, managing director, and I, and or one other member of the EC, meets with presidents, and we usually ask them for specific topics to solicit ideas, canvass their membership, and bring those ideas to Kim and me or whoever else is at that meeting. These have been tremendously productive, and a lot of the ideas that the presidents have come up with in these meetings have been implemented. So, for example, one of the things that presidents said that their members wanted was a way to interact with other members. And, Facebook is okay. It works sort of all right. But what we've done is developed a forum section of our website where there are listed topics. People can talk about breeding, training, et cetera, or any topic they want. So we've responded to these member needs of, being able to interact more through changes in the website. We've also developed a regional representatives program. So we've identified some people who are sort of NAVHDA, quote, experts, and what their job is to do is to maintain contact with each chapter within their region, and again, discuss concerns and bring their concerns to the appropriate people so that people can have their voice heard.
Which is a big, I don't want to say issue, but it is definitely something when you've got an organization as big as NAVHDA and as diverse and as spread, because we're talking about Canada, the US, it's a big group of people, and there's different breeds, there's different dynamics and different terrains, different things. So being able to actually have voices heard from all over the country in those different regions is really awesome.
It's absolutely essential that we get anybody's voice who wants to be heard. And we do. I get a lot of personal phone calls, which is great. I welcome them. But we have sort of these other pipelines to get information, kind of funnels to get information. It's been really, really effective in terms of developing a program. So as you know, NAVHDA's grown tremendously over the last 10 years. And there's always a set of growing pains with any organization. But what we've done in response to members' request is to enhance chapter support. So as the membership has grown, we've heard from a lot of people that they wanted a more local chapter. So one of the most important things I think that we've done as an organization is develop the new chapter support program. So what this does is provides financial and educational support to new chapters, bringing in judges for free for the first test, I believe it is, and other educational and financial incentives to support new chapters. Also, the new chapter mentor program. This is a program whereby, newer chapters who don't really know how to run a training day or, are not quite sure how we're going to pull off our first test. We have identified a set of mentors who are available for consultation with any new chapter. Another I'm really particularly proud of this program is the training seminar assistance program. So what this does is allow newer chapters or even established chapters who have a clearly identified training gap to bring in professional trainers and NAVHDA subsidizes those seminars. So this has been a tremendously popular, tremendously successful program, again, to enhance members' abilities to get the most out of their dog.
That's awesome, because a lot of people are first-time dog owners, first-time dog handlers, and, a lot of the people within the NAVHDA community are amateurs. There's a handful of pros, absolutely, but when you've got so many people that have only trained 1 or 2 dogs, and yes, we're helping each other, giving feedback, but when you can actually bring in somebody that's trained hundreds and thousands of dogs to help the community, it's awesome.
It is. Really is. One of the other things that I think probably many members know about is our recent IT developments. Randy Hansen and the IT crew have done an absolutely spectacular job of developing the member portal. If you haven't seen the member portal, you haven't interacted with the member portal, I strongly urge you to do that. Within the member portal, there is also a test secretary package, an automated test secretary package, which is very, very popular, extremely successful. And within the member portal, you have access to not only your own sort of little member page, but you can search other members, you can search dogs, you can look at pedigrees, and Randy and his team have also done an absolutely astounding job at enhancing the access to our database. Many of you may not know that NAVHDA has the largest versatile hunting dog testing and pedigree database in the world, and it's searchable by members. And it's searchable now going back 6 generations, and we have the COI, a coefficient of
inbreeding. Mm-hmm.
The coefficient of inbreeding.
So the pedigree database lookup and the test record database is phenomenal. As a breeder, we use it all the time to look up our, testing records for our dogs, our pedigrees, and the fact that it's accessible and easily accessible and has so much information is amazing. There hasn't been anything like that out there before.
Yeah, it's been, and part of the reason that we made some of these changes is to assist breeders. And let's face it, at the end of the day, breeders are really part of the backbone of NAVHDA, right? And our mission is to improve a versatile hunting dog. And this is exactly what the breeders are doing. Our dogs are getting better and better and better. And it's in part because the breeders are doing a fantastic job of breeding the best of the best and using the data that NAVHDA provides to guide those breeding decisions.
Absolutely.
And without the really serious and dedicated efforts of our breeders, NAVHDA would not be where we are today.
Yeah, I mean, how many days are we running at the Invitational this year? Because that's how many dogs, well, it's just a portion of how many dogs got utility prize ones last year, and they're here this year and doing the commitment to run. And it's a 7-day, 6-day test at this point.
This year it's 6 full days of testing. Yep.
Yeah. And then you got travel and all the things on either end. It ends up being a full week commitment to set up and to have the volunteers here, get judges in. And it's incredible. It wasn't that way a few years ago.
It wasn't. So sure, volunteers are taking days off work to come out here. The sort of, I hate to use the word pageantry because it's not a pageant, but it's just, it's sort of transformed in the last 10 or 15 years into really what I believe it ought to be. And that is a celebration.
That's what I was going to say.
A celebration of really what, at least to my mind, obviously I'm biased, but to my mind is the premier versatile hunting dog event in the world.
Absolutely.
And this year, we've got just over 200 of the best dogs you'll find in North America.
Yeah.
And we all ought to be proud of that.
Yeah. And it is a celebration. I mean, the people that have got here have worked really hard, and they've not worked hard on their own. They have their community, whether it's their local chapters, their training groups, things like that have helped get them here. And a lot of those people that helped get them here are here today, here this week, to help them continue following that drive, that dream and passion, and to continue getting the best out of their dog. And then when the scores are read at the end of the day, help celebrate with them.
That's right. Yep. And it goes beyond scores. And I don't want to belabor this point, but it goes well beyond scores. We all hope we pass this test. It's a very difficult test. And we all hope we pass, but I think at the end of the day, not only are you going to wind up with a better dog out of this, whether you pass or don't pass, but you're going to wind up with lifelong relationships.
Yes, absolutely. And you're going to become a better dog handler, which ultimately is going to lead to better experiences in the hunting field,
Right.
And at the home too, as well.
Yep, exactly. Another thing I'm particularly proud of here in the last few years is the enhancement of youth participation. Over the last 2 years, we've had about a 24% increase in youth participation. We have a set of youth programs, some self-directed and some NAVHDA directed, that we have that we support. We started with a generous donation from Terry Wilson, our past vice president, who sadly passed away this year. But he and Nancy Annisfield were just amazingly generous and established the seed money to support the youth program, which has since grown. And we're seeing more and more youth engagement. It keeps going up every year. We've never had more youth engagement than we did in 2023, 2024. So, we've got to build on that momentum and continue that increase in youth membership, because let's face it, I can only speak for myself. I'm not getting any younger, right?
Yeah, and we have 2 young children that are very involved with the dogs. They love doing anything and everything. So being able to know that, they have opportunities in the future with NAVHDA is awesome, that they can continue to be a part of this program. And also they're our future. I mean, I'm not going to be running dogs forever. You're not going to be running dogs forever. So we need the next generation to have the passion, have the support to be able to say, this is what we can do.
You're absolutely right. We not only need youth, we need property to hunt on. And this is why we've developed such a strong relationship with Pheasants Forever and the Ruffed Grouse Society. We have been supporting Pheasants Forever for years. This year and last year, we've sort of changed the way we support Pheasants Forever and Quail Forever by donating money for specific habitat projects. And this year, NAVHDA has given Pheasants Forever $15,000 to support the Build a Wildlife program and the Build a Wildlife area, BAWA. And that money is going directly to support the development of pieces of property that are going to enhance upland experience for all of us, particularly NAVHDA members. This year, we're supporting the development of a piece of property right here in southern Iowa. So I'm very, very proud of our relationship with Pheasants Forever and our ability to maintain property, to make sure that not just through youth, but through continued access or enhanced access to property, that we're going to be able to maintain these traditions.
Yeah, we absolutely need both.
Sort of related to that, there are some pending legislative actions that may affect us, may affect our ability to train dogs, may affect our ability to breed dogs, and may affect our ability to hunt dogs. And so one other thing, I mentioned Terry Wilson, our past president, who sadly passed away this year. He was seminal in developing a relationship with Sportsmen's Alliance and Congressional Sportsmen's Federation. And what these organizations do is bring to the forefront bits of legislation that may, in fact, impact us. And so we've developed that relationship with these 2 groups to try and enhance members' abilities to learn more about these bits of legislation and then act on their own. We as a nonprofit organization really can't support particular political candidates, et cetera, or take positions necessarily on political pieces of legislation. But what we're trying to do through these relationships is enhance members' understanding of what's happening around them, and then, if they so choose, to vote and express their opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Education is very important when it comes to making future decisions, and having a resource that would allow them to gain the knowledge to make an informed decision is invaluable.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yep.
So, Tim, what these are all things that have happened recently for NAVHDA, and now with the election coming up, I'm sure you have great plans for what you would like to see for NAVHDA moving forward.
Yeah. So thanks for asking. We have made great strides in that past few years, but we're definitely not done. Among the things that we hope to get done in the next few years is to continue to enhance members' abilities to interact with our data set. As I said, this data set is huge, and our ability to bring bits of information out that's going to enhance our abilities to either sort of breed in an informed way or to buy dogs in an informed way is already there. We're looking to enhance that in terms of not just the variables that people can look up or manipulate as they search, but also the user friendliness of it. If you've used our searching database, it is great. It's very powerful. We're looking to make it a little bit more kind of user friendly, I think is the best word. We've got great relationships with conservation partners, Pheasants Forever, Quail Forever, and Ruffed Grouse Society. I hope to expand those relationships with conservation groups. I mean, there are a number of them out there. We're in discussions with some of them. But let's face it, part of our role as a dedicated group of hunters is to make sure that we have access to property, make sure that we have access to federal, private, state lands. And so I'm looking to expand our conservation partnerships beyond these two wonderful relationships that we already have. The same goes with corporate sponsorships. We've got really tremendous relationships with Purina, for example. Purina's been here all week. Purina is doing a full week, I believe next week, of social media blitz, focusing exclusively on the 2025 NAVHDA Invitational. Our relationship with Purina has been longstanding. We've been affiliated with them for years, and it's been a tremendously productive relationship. That's going to continue. We've also got relationship with Garmin Tritronics, Ugly Dog Hunting, Roughland Performance Kennels. In most of these relationships, or the strength of our relationship, is due to the really hard work of Andy Doak, who's been our director of promotions for several years. Does just an absolutely fantastic job of maintaining those relationships, not just with our commercial sponsors, but with our conservation partners as well. So again, part of my hope is that we're able to expand on our existing really strong relationship with corporate sponsors and develop some newer relationships. It's important to note that our relationship with corporate sponsors, allows us to do a number of things that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Money from those sponsors goes into the general fund, which helps then fund a lot of the programs that I described earlier. I only described a handful of the programs when we talked about it. There are a number of them out there that require money, and part of our relationship with the corporate sponsors is supporting those programs.
I know that recently there has been a change in the apprenticeship program, and you can get some reimbursement for the expenses because going through the apprenticeship program myself years ago, that wasn't an option. And it is a big commitment, just like judging is, where you're getting to all these tests on your own dime. As a approved judge, you typically can have a little bit of help from the chapter for those travel expenses, flights, but as an apprentice, you're getting there on your own dime a lot of times. And so that makes it easier to have apprentices be able to get to out of state, out of area tests. And again, we're not getting any younger, so we've got to continue having people want to be involved, and judges. I mean, with an invitational that takes 6 days, that also takes a lot of judges. It's a lot of miles when you're in the field judging all these dogs. There's 18 braces today. So having an apprenticeship program as well that is able to be supported through some sponsorships and financially is going to continue the future of NAVHDA as well.
It will. Particularly with the tremendous growth we experienced in the early 2000s, we needed more judges because we're having more and more tests. And while our judging cadre is is really, listen, I've tested in a lot of different venues outside of NAVHDA. Clearly I am I'm a NAVHDA diehard. But I do know that we have absolutely the strongest judging group, as far as I'm concerned, in the world. And there's a reason for that. And that's because you don't become a judge overnight. Typically becoming a judge requires 2 years of apprenticeship. And as you just said, traveling on your own dime, paying for your own food, your own hotel, et cetera. And the dedication, just the sheer dedication of the apprentices is something really to be admired. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Now, a number of local chapters have, assist.
Oh, absolutely. There's been many times that chapters have opened their homes to us as apprentices, have helped with meal expenses, things like that. So it's not completely on your own dime, but having a program to help supplement that is valuable.
Yeah, I agree. And a lot of chapters support local members who are in the apprentice program by assisting them with travel costs. And Yankee chapter is an example, Minnesota chapter is another example. And there are a lot of chapters out there. Del Valle, my home chapter, does this. And so based at least in part on those models, now the International developed their own program, the Apprentice Judge Incentive Program, which reimburses judges which reimburses apprentice judges once they become judges for a subset of their expenses. So again, this is absolutely critical that we get these judges in the pipeline. And as we started out saying, that's funded through the general fund, which is also supported through corporate sponsorships.
Yep, absolutely. So other than continuing to strengthen these relationships and hopefully potentially find new relationships, what other goals and plans do you have?
I want to continue expanding our member portal. I mean, this has been a true game changer. We already have a member forum where members can interact with one another. I'd like to be able to set up virtual meetings. The power, we all know the power of Zoom, for example, or Microsoft Teams. What I'd like to do is be able to expand on those sorts of things and have real meetings among people who have subset of interests. Maybe a breeders group that could be sort of organized through our website. Other interest groups. The other thing that I'm particularly proud about over the last few years is now this financial stability. We've never been more financially stable than we are now. And that's due in large part to the efforts of John Wolf, our treasurer, who worked on the finance committee for 6 years prior to becoming treasurer. John's doing an absolutely fantastic job. And that's evidenced by some of the financial statements that we sent out to the members most recently. That said, organizations that are growing as we are, with events that are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like the Invitational, for example, and like our annual meeting, we need to continue to look for ways to manage spending responsibly while not compromising the quality of the events that we sponsor. So we're going to continue with the finance committee to continue to examine spending and try and make sure that we're cutting spending in a responsible way without compromising the quality of our programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a financially responsible nonprofit organization would not be any small feat because this event in and of itself, you can see the amount of expense that would go into running an event like this. So being able to project for the growth and also continue finding those sponsorships and those opportunities, investments and things like that. And the fact that you're sending out those statements to the membership to be completely transparent so everyone is on the same page is a very commendable thing to do.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned transparency. And I'm proud to say that NAVHDA has never been more transparent than we are currently. Not only are we meeting a quarterly basis with chapter presidents, we are discussing the meeting, the minutes from the EC meetings with chapter presidents. We also publish EC meeting minutes, which has never been done before. and being financially transparent in terms of sending out financial statements, which we did just recently. So I'm really particularly proud of that. And really these quarterly meetings with chapter presidents has been really kind of enlightening. And I think chapter presidents appreciate that. Members, if you have any input that you would like to get heard, please absolutely talk to your regional representatives and also your chapter presidents. Tell them you want your voice heard. And by the way, you don't have to go through chapter presidents. My phone number is published. I'm not going to give it over the
internet,
over the podcast, but feel free to call me anytime. I always take a call. If I can't take a call at that minute, I will definitely call you right back. I mean, there's no reason why you need to go through chapter presidents. Chapter presidents ought to be informed. Regional representatives ought to be informed. But there are other routes. Call Kim, call me, call anybody on the EC. We're all waiting for your input. And you know what? It makes a difference. So I encourage you to do that.
Well, thank you for that. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up? It's been a great conversation.
It has. Thank you. I appreciate you having me on. I just want to end by saying that, this is, having been president for the past 2.5 years has really been an honor. It's been an honor to serve the membership. I have come to appreciate the membership and the goals of this organization even more over the past 3 years. It's been an absolute honor, and it's been an honor working with the people on the chapter level and at the international level as well, and particularly the executive council. The executive council has been a really highly functioning group for several years. Decisions are not made by individuals in NAVHDA. Decisions are made by groups, and the groups are not just the executive committee. The groups are composed of, for example, the judging and testing committee, the promotions committee, the registry committee. These are all ways that non-EC members can become involved in decision-making in NAVHDA. Our judging and testing committee is now, I'm going to get the number wrong, I believe it's 11 people, all judges, but everybody has their voice. The registry committee is composed of a number of people, 6 people, I think, all members, obviously. And there are a number of the publications committee is very, very similar. So what we're looking to do is to build on this momentum and continue to increase members' input into decisions in NAVHDA. But I guess my final thoughts would be, keep your cards and letters coming. Don't forget that we are always available. We're always waiting for your input, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for being on the podcast with me today. Good luck in the election upcoming, and good luck at the rest of the invite, because that is about halfway done at this point today. So thank you again for being with me today, and we'll see you in the next video.